we were in an emergency situation. We don't have extra. We have a little bit of water and a little bit of food.
I don't think we have a first aid kit.
We have tuna fish, we have beans, we have canned tomatoes,
True.
you know.
That's true, but that's really not survival food. Tomato paste.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Gar High School. It is week 6 of the high school football season, and most importantly, it is week 1 of the Sunset League opener. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Los Alamitos Griffins kicking off the league opener and hosting the Marina Vikings. Hi again, everybody. Fritz Pollard, Ron Cluey, Keith Jones. Happy to have you along with us as LATV proudly presents Sunset League football. Well, for Los Alamitos, they bring in a perfect 5-0 record. And Ron Cluey, when you look at how they've opened the season, 3 relatively easy games, but boy, La Habra, Narbonne, things picked up quick.
Oh, absolutely, Fritz. You said it. You know, first 3 games of the season, when you looked at it, you saw a team that kind of, well, it wasn't stumbling. You didn't feel like they've really had their foot on the accelerator. Then came La Habra, and that was a wake-up call because that's a team that played some smash-mouth football, hit Los Al right in between the, helmet. And, I mean, Los Al responded in kind and came out with a win. Then last week, Narbonne, speed team. God, talent all over the place. I mean, you looked at it and you thought, no way can Los Al hang with this team. And I tell you what, that's the first time this season I've seen the team just absolutely come out and click. They played every play as well as they possibly could and came out with a great victory. The other thing that impressed me, Los Al has speed, guys. You may not think so, but Narbonne is a very fast team. Los Al held with them very well. Evans, Richardson, Jenkins, Perez, great set of skill players on this team here. You also have an O-line and you have a defense that's playing very well. I mean, these guys are really taking it to them. Tonight's game, really, the big issue for Los Al, don't look past these guys to Edison next week. I mean, they know what's coming up at them. They know probably they're playing for the league championship next week, but you got to beat these guys first. Right now in the Sunset League, combined win-loss record of all 6 teams, 23-7. It means we got some pretty good teams in the league this year. But Los Al is on the top of the heap. In fact, when I checked this week and today, Los Al is ranked number 63 in the nation by Rivals.com. That's a pretty good ranking for right now. So tonight's big deal is stay with them. Don't let yourself go to sleep. Run the score up. Get those juniors in by the 3rd quarter, and then get home and get ready for next week.
Well, let's take a look at the other side of this thing. It's a 2-3 record. The Marina Vikings bring in, well, maybe what's their best start in a while.
Absolutely.
Second-year coach, what are they looking at tonight?
Well, one thing I wanted to talk to the coach about, Sunset League is so competitive, and a couple years ago they got rid of Huntington, brought in Newport Harbor, which left Marina almost guaranteed in the basement. So his attitude is that it's going to take a while, but he thinks that he can build a program that can compete at this level. Now, can they do that tonight? I don't know. He knows he's got his hands cut out for him. He's here to compete, but it's going to be tough. Most of their offense comes from one guy, Sam Wilson, their running back, has rushed for 690 yards. That's second in the Sunset League, 4th in the Southern section. So he puts a lot of yards and gets a lot of miles. But to beat Los Al, they think they're going to need a more balanced attack. They're going to be trying to get it to their 2 wide receivers, Drew Johnson and Jared Ballas. But they combined have 300 yards receiving, and you have 700 yards on the ground with one guy. It tells you where their emphasis is going to be. Now, that may not work against them because they're thinking running, keeping the ball in their hands and out of Los Al's offensive hands, getting a chance for their defense to rest, may be a chance for them to win. They're going to go with a very meat and potatoes balanced type of attack. The kind of football that I imagine that Joe the Plumber, and if you're out there, Joe, I'm talking to you, might like to watch. Defensively, everybody's got to participate. They know that Los Al runs a lot of options. Heck, not only is Los Al's offense balanced, their quarterback's balanced. He runs, he throws. They're going to basically have assignment defense, and they know that one guy blowing it could be the big play. But they think that this is going to be the beginning of a whole new era for Marina football.
Well, and as far as Joe is concerned, I hear he's busy tonight. He's got a drain to clear. So
be.
we'll have to have him watch this on replay. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go away. It is week 1 of the Sunset League. It is a great league, one of the best in Southern California. You won't want to miss a moment of it. Ladies and gentlemen, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Cans, water bottles, and clothes. These forms of aid cost more to ship than you think. Cash donations provide immediate and effective relief to those who need it, without the shipping costs. If we all do our part, together, we can provide help across the world. To learn more, check out CIDI.org.
I could reach the stars, pour one down for you, so you can see the truth, that I can change the world. I would be the sunlight in your universe, and if I could, I'd change the world.
What is your problem, man? All right. What's going on here, fellas?
The missile was about to hit the school.
That doesn't change the fact that I don't have a car anymore. Who just throws a person's car at a missile?
You're serious?
Yeah. Who's gonna pay for my car?
Disasters like floods, fires, and earthquakes can be devastating, but you can take steps to keep your family safe. Get an emergency supply kit. Make a family emergency plan and practice it together. Be prepared for the different types of emergencies that could happen in your community.
As kids, we take on some tough opponents every day. Too much TV, soda after soda, junk food, and their captain, obesity. And the best way to beat this lineup is to get out and play soccer. Running with friends, kicking a ball, playing outside every day. You can do it, you're a winner. Get out, get in the game.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are just seeing the Los Alamitos Olympian Marching Band with the opening ceremony, and we will be getting underway here momentarily. It is week number 1 of the Sunset League season here in 2008, and Los Alamitos brings a 5-0 perfect record into tonight's contest. As we said earlier in the show, for the Marina Vikings, a 2-3 record so far this season. Two-year coach Dan Petrone at Marina, a 5-10 record, a graduate of Estancia back in 1990, where he was an all-CIF linebacker, went to Orange Coast College, and was an academic All-American. And he has had, Ron, his hands full taking over this Marina Viking team. As Keith opened our show with, they have been in the basement, and will have another long season, although they have to look at the record so far and be content with it. Well, it'll be an interesting contest tonight, and again, as we talked about, Keith Jones suggesting that there are a few weapons. Zach Cooey, the quarterback, thrown for 3 touchdowns, 474 yards on the season, 48% completion ratio. But look for Sam Wilson, their running back, number 5, with 700 yards, 11 TDs. Ron, that looks like where most of the offense is going to go tonight, and boy, that is a disaster when you've got a great defensive team peaking like we saw against a very fast Narbonne team last week. I mean, Los Alamitos, quite frankly, impressed me with how well they did. Well, Jared Ballas, number 81, the receiver, has the most receiving yards. At this moment, he is 14 catches for 168 yards, a 12-yard average, and then that's about it. It drops off pretty quickly. Drew Jordan has 109 yards, and so for Los Alamitos, they have just a few players to worry about tonight. Again, as you said in the opening, not a team they want to look past, but really at this point the Vikings have got to be concerned. Let's talk about last week and some of the highlights with the Griffins against the Narbonne Gauchos, the #1 ranked team in LA City. We heard a lot about them coming in. We've got a gentleman that's going to USC, a lot of great looking athletes. Let's talk about that offensive line. I mean, you looked at the D-line of the Gauchos last week. They had a guy at 380, another 300-pounder, and Los Al was pushing them around the field all night. Well, and Los Alamitos even overcame a couple of their mistakes where Clark Evans threw a interception and was able to fight back. A couple of great crossing patterns right down the middle to Richardson and Jenkins. And quite frankly, it was one of the first times this year that we have seen Clark Evans be dead on with all of his receivers. And if you look at Richardson, you know, all year long, it's like Evans and Richardson's have been just a little bit out of sync, and boy, did they connect and connect big last week. Yep. Right.
You guys are still on.
Right. Well, and Ron, that's probably the only time he did that is when there was the pick. He was trying to kind of lob it over that near defender, and I agree with you. He's a big guy, and he can put some zip on the ball, and first few games he was just completely out of sync. So the captains are entering the field. Number 36, Anthony Nopoulos. Joe Lent there, number 10. And then, of course, Clark Evans, number 5. Oh. Well, and he had to step up. I mean, last week, I'll tell you, that team Narbonne was one play away all the time from scoring big. They're one play away from absolutely going to the house, and that's what Los Alamitos had to be, that's what they had to be careful of. So at this point, we've got Los Alamitos under the Griffin in the far end zone. That is the new addition. You'll probably see that as the team runs in. They're all standing there. In fact, we've had smoke in the past. I don't know where the smoke is. Yeah, well, especially when you got to stay in that tunnel for a while. So here they come. And we are just moments away from starting week number 1 of this high school football season in league play. 5 weeks in so far, and Los Alamitos trying to protect that perfect record. And let's look at it from a Marina perspective. I mean, they're 2-3, and it has happened before. In fact, it was Coach Rayling that was at the helm. It was the last time that I recall the Marina Vikings were victorious over the Los Alamitos Griffins. Coach Rayling was at the helm, and that next year was fired. And when Coach Barnes found out about that, he picked up the phone, made the call, and now Coach Rayling is the offensive line co-coach. And here he is. Anywhere. Well, and we will be talking about momentarily what is going on in addition to tonight's game. You may see some interesting colors on some of the players. Los Alamitos is wearing pink gloves tonight, a support and fundraiser for breast cancer. And they've hooked up with the Marina Vikings. Many of the Vikings are going to be wearing pink socks. So we'll give you more information. There'll be some ceremonies tonight that we'll bring you when they develop. And we are underway, Sunset League 2008. And this one, Zach Catalyst will put in the end zone. And Ballas takes it, and that'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. So first series for Cooey. Zach Cooey, 48% completion ratio, 474 yards, 3 touchdowns in the air. They're going to give this one to Sam Wilson. Sam Wilson, pick up a 5 on the play. Not a bad play as he goes far side. In on the stop is John Cherie. So that'll bring up a second down. Clock continues to run, 11:40. Second down and 5, ball on the 25-yard line. So a nice pickup on first down. Sam Wilson, 11 touchdowns so far in the season. Go from the I formation. Cooey going to give it to Wilson again. Expect us to be calling his name a lot. Los Alamitos stiffens up on that. May have picked up 1.
Yeah, I mean, Fritz, right now, you can see that Los Al is just going to be attacking these guys all the way through the whole night. And that's what the thing is that they have to do. And ladies and gentlemen, we apologize if it's been a little bit ragged on the sound. We're having a few technical difficulties.
So clock back underway. That'll bring up a third down and 4.
Still too loud for you. Can you hear Fritz?
Okay.
Okay,
Marina
now
comes to the line.
So important third down here early in the game. Keep this drive alive, and Marina will start to move out of their own side of the field. And nice throw. That's complete on the far side, and Cooey
completes to Drew Jordan, and I tell you, Twin Fernandez probably left a little too much room out there for Jordan to run that route. I don't see anything on Marina's side that say I would, give them 5-6 yards cushion. And, Fritz, I mean, in a game like this, when you look at it, you should just be saying, we've got better speed, and we should be able to control these guys the whole way. Oh, now we have a penalty on the play. I don't know if somebody jumped or not.
Staring down at 1st and 15.
Right, this is where Los Al, in fact, you see right now you got 9 in the box. And again, we're going to have a false start on somebody's part.
Well, and it wouldn't be a surprise on the Vikings' behalf if they were looking at all those potential rushers coming at him.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing. That's why I said earlier, Fritz, and I don't know if anybody at home heard it because, well, we had our little technical difficulties, but Los Al tonight, when you're looking at a one-dimensional offense where primarily it's a running back, all you do on that situation, and I mean, it's not Los Al, it's UCLA, it's USC, it's the Chicago Bears, it's the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
You stuff 9 in the box and you tell the guy, okay, if you're going to beat me, you're going to have to throw. And obviously, if you have an unbalanced offense, it's because you're not very good at some aspect.
Los Alamitos playing very tight to that line of scrimmage. Cooey going to give it right up the middle to Wilson, and Wilson going nowhere. May have gotten back to the original line of scrimmage. That'll bring up a 2nd down and 15.
Yeah, there was a whole horde of red shirts there. I mean, hard to figure out. Probably Josh Schnitzer was the first one there, but probably about 5 guys right behind him just piling on. And this is what I expect to see tonight. I mean, Los Al's just going to keep stuffing the holes, let the linebackers come in, fill gaps, maybe do some safety blitzes, maybe a corner blitz occasionally. But I don't see that they're going to probably have a whole lot of respect for Marina's passing game tonight.
Well, and at some level, they're going to say, hey, beat us in the air. 8:52 left here in the first quarter. Cooey goes to the air, flushed out of the pocket, in the grasp, gets away and throws it up. Look out, this is anyone's ball.
Oh my gosh, that was a wide open Shaquille Richardson. Oh, it was a dream.
Yeah.
I don't know what, Friendling got the quarterback down, and I don't know what the quarterback was thinking at that point, probably not much.
Well, when you're laying on your back and you see you just threw it about 30 feet in the air.
I mean, he literally just lofted it vertically, and I mean, boy, Shaquille Richardson, you know, that's probably one of those cases where they always talk about too much time to think about it.
He had all day to think about that one, and he probably looked at the end zone 14 times before it came down.
Yeah, so, boy, great opportunity there, but you know what? Hey, good rush by Los Al, forced a 3rd and 15 here.
Ball sits on the 35-yard line for the Vikings. Your lone setback is Wilson. They do a pitch toss coming near side, cuts it up, gets back to what was the original line of scrimmage, but not near enough. And we'll see the punt squad come out. Shaquille Richardson comes up to make the stop.
Yeah, Shaquille did a nice job of, you know, closing in from the outside there and basically forcing the running back into the middle of the field. Now, one of the things I might want to note tonight, I was watching Marina's punter warming up before the game, and it looks like he's got a decent leg on him, so might have a chance to see Josh Peru to actually have to back up a little bit tonight and take some of these punts a little bit deeper than he's normally expecting.
Punt is away, and we have a roughing the kicker call.
Oh, that was silly.
That was Cody Perez come up and knock down the punter.
Yeah, that was uncalled for. I mean, the thing is that when you go after the guy, you have to go 2 yards in front of him, not right at his foot. So Cody Perez knows better than that. Now, it'll be interesting to see on this is whether they call knocking the kicker down or they call it roughing the kicker.
Chase Robertson, the punter for the Vikings.
Yeah, it's declined because it was just knocking down for the 5-yard penalty. Marina doesn't want to take another chance here.
They've seen enough.
Well, no, the thing is, I mean, it was a great punt. They forced a fair catch. Los Al's on the 26-yard line, so, you know, why take a risk for probably minimal gain?
So there's the sidelines for the Griffins. Coach Barnes going to have one last word with his offense, as this is the first offensive series of week 1 of Sunset League play, and you'll see those pink gloves.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to see how long those pink gloves stay on when the first guy drops a ball. I think they're going to come off pretty quick.
7:57 left is Clark Evans, and they are all spread out. Cody Perez is your lone setback. Right up the middle, and a nice defensive stand there by the Vikings.
Looks like number 22 for the Vikings. There he is, Tyler Steen. one of the defensive ends.
So that'll bring up a 2nd down and 10. No pickup on the play, and Clark Evans will come in. That's got to be a little bit of a scary lineup when you see your 4 wideouts, all very dangerous.
Well, and I think, you know, again, Los Al runs scripted plays for usually the first 15 plays of the game, and what that is the coaches are trying to see where the weaknesses are on the opposing team.
There's Jenkins, got Richardson downfield, maybe a little too far downfield.
Drew Jordan on the tackle there. Well, let's real quick go over for Los Al for offense. Clark Evans at QB, obviously. Cody Perez is the running back. Wide receivers are Daryl Jenkins, Paul Richardson, and John Cherie, and Zach Cadlitz. Then on the line, we have Kevin Rowlands, Niasumi Saleh, Ryan Derry, David Foote, and Michael Holmquist. And I apologize to the Saleh family if I just totally mangled their son's name.
Now, this is his 2nd week starting on that O-line. And boy, again, that O-line did such a great job last week. Zach Cadlitz, the near side receiver. Clark Evans going far side. That is complete.
Well, this is going to be close. Depends where they spot it. It looks like they spotted for a 1st down. Whole bunch of white shirts there. Looks like maybe Robert Quick was the first one to get there.
That was Daryl Jenkins with the reception, and that is a 1st down. Move the chains.
Okay, and then on Marina's side on defense, we have on the defensive line, Colton Toll, Tyler Steen, Connor King, and then linebackers, Chris Fiskus, Ryan Lahane, Robert Quick, and Cullen Hutchinson. And then in the defensive backfield, Mitch Huffman, Drew Jordan, Kai Ane, and Sam Wilson.
Cody Perez cutting it back in, lost his footing, but had a lot of Vikings pursuing.
Right, Tyler Steen again on the tackle. Well, Fritz, you know, one thing I would expect, and also Ryan Lahane there on the tackle, one thing I would expect is that when Marina's playing defense, they ought to be able to defense the run because they probably see it a lot in practice.
You bet they do. So let's call it a 2nd down and 9.5. Spread offense. Cody Perez, now they empty the backfield as Cody Perez moves into the slot. Clark Evans going to run it. First time we've seen him take off, and this will be a load to bring down. It's taken about 6 or 7 of the Vikings to do it. That is more than enough for the 1st down.
Yeah, and one of the things that was really nice there is Evans saw the middle linebacker coming up on the blitz, and his blockers did a great job of picking the guy up, and that opened the lane up for Clark, and he just took off, picked up about, what, 15, 16 yards on that play. Tell you the other thing too, Fritz, if Los Al doesn't do very well tonight, as far as, not that they're going to lose, but Jim Van Gorder standing there, but if they don't blow out Marina, I can guarantee you that's the last time we'll see pink anything on this team.
Yes. Clark Evans, again, empty backfield, plenty of time, and right off the fingertips. Actually, Jenkins was very well covered there. I mean, had been a little further downfield, he would have had some running room, but to 2 defenders on him.
Yeah, but, you know, great job by the O-line there on giving Evans a lot of time to throw the ball. And I think a little bit, you know, Clark almost tried to place the ball there instead of just throwing it.
John Barnes, 270 victories, 71 losses, and 7 ties. Created a lot of great quarterbacks in his 30 years. Clark Evans. That is complete to Cody Perez. Cody Perez off to the races, and he's taken down.
Well, and a great job at downfield blocking by Paul Richardson there. I mean, he just blew the guy out that was in front of him. But that's a nice little wheel route out of the backfield by Los Al there. Perez, you know, instead of putting on a full block, fakes a block and then rolls out and makes the catch and boogies downfield. And looked like Ferrante there, Stephen Ferrante on the tackle for Marina.
So Los Al brings in their jumbo backfield with 4:57 left here in the first quarter. Going to give it to Castaneda. Castaneda moving, nice stop there, short of the goal line, but not before a handful of yards were picked up, and Los Alamitos now knocking on the door.
Yeah, Drew Jordan on the tackle there, and Castaneda makes about as close to the end zone as you can get without actually scoring.
So this would generally be the Clark Evans sneak right off the right side.
And I don't think any surprise again, and Evans just keeps pushing. At some point, the referee's got to say he got over. No, they're saying he didn't. He got down to about the 1-inch line, and that's where they're going to call it. Well, give Marina credit there for really just diving down and filling a lot of holes.
That's almost a for sure touchdown, and it has been so far this season. Los Alamitos now looking at a 3rd down, 1. Clark Evans brings him to the line. Jenkins on the far side receiver, Richardson on the near side.
Well, this time he's got to be in.
Yeah, can't get any clearer than that.
Yeah, that time he fell down.
So Clark Evans with his 8th rushing touchdown of the season.
Well, I think one of the things that Marina's probably going to be having a hard time dealing with this week is that last week when they played Western only threw 4 times the entire game against them, but rushed for 400 yards. Talk about, you know, 2 teams that are opposites.
Right, no kidding. So Zach Kadlitz comes in to punch it through. Actually close to being blocked, but that is good, and that'll tack on the extra point, 7-0 to open this Sunset League play, and the Griffins didn't mess around moving it down the field.
Yeah, very workmanlike drive. I'll say one thing Marina probably accomplished that they wanted to do is it did take Los Al 8 minutes and 20 seconds to get the first score of the game. So it's not that they got scored on immediately, you know, in a 20-second long pass downfield, but for Marina, if you can say there's ever a moral victory, probably this is one that they could take to the house, is saying at least it took them over 8 minutes to get the first points.
Well, and they did a lot of it on the ground. It wasn't like we saw a ton of big pass plays, so credit to Marina so far, and not giving up that big backbreaker. Still a lot of game to play. Coach Van Gorder, there's Barry Shear, Coach Barnes.
Looks like John Ballas in the area back there, ready to receive. Other thing we'd like to do tonight is also thank some of our sponsors: McKenna, Volkswagen, Audi, Mazda, BMW, and Porsche. That automotive group, they've been great sponsors and supporters of Los Al over the years.
Thank you.
And we'd also like to thank Penske, who over the years has also been a great supporter of Los Al.
So number 81, Ballas, stands on his own goal line. And this one will be taken on the 6-yard line. Ballas, not a bad return, gets it out near the 25-yard line, and for the second possession, Vikings Cooley will set up.
Yeah, good field position there. Anthony Apples on the tackle. And while we're waiting for the teams to set up, let's go through for Los Al's defense. On the defensive line, you have Castaneda, Schnitzer, Mason Pau, and Jacob Fremling. Then in the linebackers, you have Lent, Fernandez, and Naples. And then in the backfield, you have Cherie, Richardson, Barut, and Watson.
3:33 left here in the first quarter. Zach Cooey brings the offense to the line.
Boy, number 47 there, the running back for Marina, has nowhere to go.
It's Gomez, Dana Gomez.
Looks like Castaneda was probably on the tackle there, was the first guy, but a couple red shirts also joined him real quick. Okay, real quick for Marina, QB Zach Cooey, we've been calling. Running back is Sam Wilson. Fullback Chris Fiskus, although we've seen Gomez in there also. And then wide receivers are Ballas and Jordan. Tight end is Trevor West. Then on the line you have King, Clarice, Richardson, Martinez, and Maginot.
So that'll bring up a second down, mark it as a loss of 1 on the play. Ball sits on the 24-yard line. Cooey going to go from the shotgun. And back to his favorite running back is Wilson up the middle. And boy, those holes are closing up as Anthony Napoulos comes up to make the stop.
Yeah,
and John Cherie in there too.
I tell you what, Los Al's D-line's just doing a great job because they're filling the first set of gaps right there. They're letting those linebackers just tee off on the running back right now. Great job as a team effort. Okay, Fritz, come on, admit to me. You hear the name Clarice, and all you can think of is Silence of the Lambs.
Believe me, I've thought of it a few times. I've got a few weeks to Halloween. I'm trying to put it out of my mind. So clock continues to run. They're going to mark it as a pickup of actually 2 because they were looking at a 2nd down and 11, now 3rd down and 9. So let's see how Cooey does in the air. Rolling out, throws across, and that is picked off.
This time Richardson doesn't miss the ball, steps right in front. I have to say that was a fairly weak passing effort by Cooey on that play, and that's probably one of the reasons why you have such an unbalanced running attack for Marina.
I think Mitch Huffman was the intended receiver. Yet Shaquille Richardson in a lot better position.
Well, he also didn't have time to think about it that
Yeah,
time.
really, he had to react. So now with awesome field position, mark the ball on the 27-yard line, and Los Alamitos will get their 2nd shot at it. Now Cody Perez is at the dot of the I there, and fake it to him, going to the air, right to the end zone, and all kinds of contact. Will there be a throw? Nope, there won't. The intended receiver there was Richardson.
No, that was good coverage by Marina on that play. Basically, they had Richardson sandwiched, and I would expect he'd get double coverage.
No, I'm sorry, that's Jenkins.
Or Jenkins, yeah. This is our bane this year. 2 guys who look almost exactly alike and wear numbers almost exactly the same.
Well, and boy, did they have big games last week.
Yeah, and I mean, you'd have to be, just not paying attention to any film study when you didn't want to double team either one of these guys. But what that means is there should be opportunities for some of the other receivers.
Jenkins on the near side, Richardson on the far side. We'll try to keep them separated by that. There's Jenkins, out of bounds, gets inside the 15-yard line, and that should be enough for a 1st down.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to wave him up. I tell you what I liked on that play, Fritz. I liked the way Clark Evans threw the ball. That was a good hard throw to the out. Drew Jordan, first guy there from Marina, but I mean, that's one of the tougher throws for quarterbacks to make, is that throw right out to the sideline there, because even though it's only 10 yards forward, it's still about 30 yards sideways.
1:40 left here in the 1st quarter. Flags flying.
Oh, we're going to have false start on somebody.
Corey Perez, the ball carrier, also checking in for Los Alamitos. The fullback position, which is Vente. We'll see how long he stays in there. I believe that...
Well, that's the 3rd fullback we've seen this year so
yeah.
far. I mean, well, of course, Castaneda is playing defensive end this week, so maybe they're going to give him a little bit of a rest in this game.
So Michael Mente is checking in, and saw a lot of 2-back set last week. They'll bring up 1st down and 15 after the penalty, and Los Alamitos under Clark Evans under
and the
a lot
ball's
of pressure
loose
and lost the ball.
No, they're calling he was down. Okay, I'll tell you what, you can't take 5 seconds in the pocket no matter how good your O-line is. And Evans, Tyler Steen on the tackle there, and Evans is gimping up a little bit. They got him a little on that one. Yep. I mean, the thing is he stood too long in the pocket looking downfield too long, and I mean, that's one of the things you cannot do. Boy, I don't like the way he's limping on that one. He can barely move.
It's getting worse. Yeah, now he's skipping.
He's skipping
well,
on that.
I'll tell you something. He is a durable quarterback, but that was kind of a twisting tackle.
Right. Well, that's one of the things you'll see, and that's part of football. You know, guys will get hold of an ankle and a knee, and, I mean, they know who they've got in their hands.
So get used to a lot of quick little handoffs there as Clark Evans tries to walk that what looks to be a right ankle injury. We're down under 37 seconds left here before the quarter break, and Clark Evans will probably be content just to get a couple of extra seconds to rest that ankle.
Well, I'm trying to figure out why the clock can't stop when the referee signaled timeout 3 times now.
So Los Alamitos, as they look at a 3rd down and 20.
Well, I mean, the clock operator needs to put about 15 seconds back on the clock.
Well, and for Coach Barnes, he's looking at a great opportunity here. They got the ball in great field position. little concern over the condition of their QB and not wanting to miss an opportunity to put points on the board.
Okay, now they've moved it back. Yeah, they're going to put about 30 seconds back on the clock.
You guys can go to the field anytime you're ready.
Okay, while we have this timeout, let's go down to Keith Jones real quick.
Hey, I'm here right now with Los Alamitos alumni and former All-Star athlete Rob Katzeroff. Rob, how you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Now, you know, I could share with the people, but there's something pretty special going on in Los Al this week. Would you like to share with everybody why you're here?
Sure. This last night we had a super banquet where they had the inaugural Hall of Fame banquet where they inducted 40 athletes and entertainers and 10 teachers. Fabulous night. It's a great thing that they did here.
Now, Rob, for those who don't remember, both baseball and football stud, tell folks a little bit about your football exploits at Los Al.
What about soccer?
We're not talking about soccer right now, sports.
Yeah, football, it was great. I had the time of my life. I still have great memories from football, and you know, probably the most memorable one would have been that Esperanza game where we, for the first time ever, Los Al beat Esperanza, last play of the game. JT Snow passes it. Neil Sorensen breaks his ankle making a block, and you know, I just happened to be on the receiving end of the pass and got to score the touchdown, and you know, it was a great time, and Los Al football is still the best, obviously.
Now, after graduation, you still continue to have some success on the playing field, not necessarily in football. Want to share with the folks what you did after leaving Los Alamitos High School?
Yeah, for 4 years I played at UCLA, outfield. After 4 years of baseball at UCLA, I went touchdown. After 4 years of baseball at UCLA, I played professionally for 6.5 years with, let's see, the Expos, Mets, Giants, Angels, Marlins, and Yankees.
So got to see a lot of the country, got to play in the big show, and we're glad that you came back to see us. Congratulations on your Hall of Fame status.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Keith Jones, and to Robbie Katzeroff. And while we were experiencing that interview, we had Paul Richardson make one of his great circus catches, and there we have Zach Kadlich punching through for the extra point. And Ron, we have gotten used to seeing Paul Richardson literally catch a ball anywhere. He literally went over that defender and pulled that ball down.
Well, absolutely. Went up and over him, and that's one of the things, I mean, that's why you always teach defenders. I mean, he goes over the top of Kayane there, and, you know, you teach defenders, you got to jump for the ball also. Don't let the guy sky up over the top of you and bring that ball down. Usually the guy who makes the catch, and as we see Jim Van Gorder talking to some of his defensive guys, is the guy who makes the catch is the guy who's going to get highest up the ladder and has the opportunity to pull the ball down. And Paul Richardson just did a great job of doing a good leap up there and coming down with the ball.
Well, a much-needed break for Clark Evans. He is now on the trainer's table. They have cut off the original tape, and he is grimacing in pain. So they are retaping that ankle. It's going to take a lot to keep him out, Ron. We've watched him be a pretty hard-nosed player.
Oh, yeah. This guy's, I mean, you know, you talk about tough guys. I mean, this guy's just the epitome of a tough guy. You know,
now,
I mean,
Ron, if you were the coach, knowing the gravity of the games coming up, why don't you hold that thought? I'm going to ask you, what would you do about putting Clark and leaving him in?
boy, great coverage by Los Al there on the kickoff. Got back to it just about the 20-yard line. I'll tell you what, if you had any confidence at all in your JV QB, to come out here and not be flustered by being in a Sunset League game, I'd have him on the field now. There's no reason to risk your starting guy. Now, the flip side of that is, this is a competitor sitting down here on the tape table right now, getting taped up. I mean, you'd have to probably amputate his leg before he'd ever tell the coach that I can't go in. So you have to take into account the psyche of the player. But boy, I tell you, Los Al should win this game, if not just purely on defensive ability alone.
Sam Wilson takes the pitch toss.
Yeah, it gets about 3 yards. So Fritz, if it was up to me right now, I'd say, Clark, you know what? Let's let it rest. But
they're going to have to go to the store for more tape. They are loading that ankle up.
Well, one of the things is when you tape somebody up, if you do it right, you can almost make it as stiff as a cast. I mean, you can really lock that ankle in place. I mean, I used to do that for my sons, when they played, and some of the guys that were on their team, every once in a while they would come over and ask me to tape them up. And I mean, I tell you what, you get that thing on there, and they want to get that off real quick after the game's over because it's painful.
Yeah, I know. The circulation's cut off at some level. So Cooey under a huge rush, and what's going to happen here is we're going to get the ball back quickly here, at least the Griffins will, and Clark Evans is going to be called on. Nathan Castaneda comes up to make the stop.
Yeah, and one of the things, too, is one thing I'd like to see from Los Al here is I'd like to see better coverage on these plays. I mean, they're getting great pass rushes and everything else, but number 88 was a tight end. That guy should not be able to release into the flat and have an 8-yard opening on the nearest guy around him. I mean, if Cooey can throw that ball anywhere near the receiver, that's a catch, and he had plenty of running room to move upfield. This is the thing that Los Al has to work on this game that I see is really being sharp on defense because, boy, with Edison next week, oh, baby, you're not going to get a chance to make those kind of mistakes.
Well, we'll give you an update on Clark Evans. They're going to give that to Wilson, and he's tripped up as he gets to the line of scrimmage.
Oh, he didn't even get there, Fritz. I think he lost a couple yards where they're spotting it.
Well, on the sideline, I'm watching the trainer try to get his shoe back on. There is so much tape on that ankle. They're using a shoehorn.
They're going to have to pound it on with a mallet, so, yeah. So, Annapolis, the guy on the tackle there on that last play, but Los Al, as the quarter ends, is up 14-0. I mean, nothing unexpected. Marina looking at 4th and 9 from their own 21-yard line. Pretty much nothing unexpected.
And Clark Evans is jogging back to the sideline now.
He's still skipping on that thing. I tell you, he's going to try and convince the coach he's okay. And you know, this is one of the times where, as a head coach, in fact, I was listening on the sports radio today. They were talking about Tony Romo for the Dallas Cowboys and saying, okay, at what point do you tell a player, you know, you don't go in and play, even though he says, hey, I'm okay, I can go in and do it? Because you have to protect him from himself. And that happens at all levels, and I think this is one of those times where you kind of have to think about, do you protect Clark Evans from himself? I mean, as I said, tough guy.
Well,
no one ever doubts
that. They're talking
that
about
hard.
it right now. Clark Evans is face-to-face with Coach Barnes.
Oh, yeah, he's pleading his case, and Coach Barnes is talking to him.
Yep. So, but what I don't see is anyone warming up on the sideline. Short punt there.
He's got a great opening there for Barut.
So Cody, Barut takes the ball on the 49-yard line of Los Alamitos.
Well, let's see who goes in.
Marina, and gets a nice return. So Los Alamitos knocking on the door.
Okay, well, Evans is definitely looking like he's going to go in. Maybe what coach was telling him, listen, if you come out limping one more time, that's it, you're done. You know, I've known John a lot of years, and I mean, I know he's just a firm believer in tough guys. You know, I mean, that's one of his biggest accolades he can ever give a player is hey, you're a tough guy out there. You know, and I mean, he means that sincerely in the manner of you've got all the heart in the world, you know, you'll run through a brick wall.
Well, he's skipping, even running out there. So let's see how long this lasts. I don't see, though, anyone warming up. So right now, it's Clark Evans at QB. Cody Perez moves into the slot. That opens up the backfield.
Oh, he's going to get hit right here. Wide open from the outside. Basically, that was Sam Wilson on a delay blitz from the safety. I'll tell you what, nobody picked him up and just nailed him.
So, add insult to injury, Clark Evans takes it on the blind side after well, we don't know how significant an injury, but he is skipping out there.
Well, and this is one of the things, too. I mean, Clark better start getting used to the idea. He better get rid of the ball in about 3 seconds. Because I tell you what, you're not going to get 4 seconds next week.
Well, and boy, they are bringing that rush from way outside, which is what's so deceptive. A little delayed handoff, Cody Perez.
Yeah, nice little draw play right there. Cody Perez rushes up the middle of the field. Ryan Lehane, inside linebacker on the tackle there.
Early in the second quarter, 10:51 left. Nice part about it for Evans, if he had to.
Oh, he's still trying to keep weight off that ankle, Fritz.
It may be just as much a show to convince Barnes to leave him in, but he can go with the handoff. They've been effective with it.
But if you're going to do handoffs, I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, bring in the next guy.
Jenkins finding a room. I'll tell you, these receivers after the catch.
Yeah, Robert Quick, who wasn't so quick to get to the ball on that play. But, yeah, Jenkins with good movement after he catches the ball. In fact, that was almost a lateral the way that ball was thrown, so this may end up actually being called a rush, because anytime it's considered a lateral, depends how they do it, it's a rush, no matter how far you threw the ball.
So fresh set of downs for Clark Evans. They spread the field.
Again, quick handoff inside to Perez. He's still on his feet. Oh, Perez just hurdles. Oh, my gosh. Wow. There's a highlight play.
There's a highlight reel.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you what. These guys have been watching. I can't remember if it's the running back from Georgia or who it is who's hurdled a couple guys this year already, but obviously Cody Perez has watched some of that game film. I don't know if we have a replay at all, but boy, that's one you want to see over and over again. I mean, that guy was set up to make the tackle, and Perez just went right over the top of him. Unbelievable play. That'll be on the season-ending reel.
Cody Perez continues to impress. He runs downhill. He does not avoid contact. Zach Kadlitz puts it up and through. So Los Alamitos pulling away 21-0 over the Marina Vikings. .10 left here before the halftime break.
Yeah, pretty much Los Al just moving the ball anywhere they want. But Fritz, you know, I think if you're Los Al, you've really got to think about just getting, you know, Clark Evans sitting down after the halftime. I mean, maybe you say, you know what, Clark, you get to finish out the half, but think forward to next week. I mean, this is one of the things that, you know, you and I were talking about before the game about, you know, what do you do in this game? And really, as a coach, you always say, we'll never look ahead to the next opponent, but you also have to be a realist. I mean, you're 21-0 with 10 minutes to go in the second quarter. It's pretty evident that you've got control of this game already. So why take any chance to have a key player, especially a player like Clark Evans, who's absolutely the backbone of your total offense,
absolutely,
get injured?
So Zach Kadlitz comes up short. Ballas heading right into the center, gets near the 25-yard line.
Nice return by Ballas there, get out to 25, 26-yard line.
And Cooey going to try to make something happen. They've had little flashes of brilliance. They've picked up a couple of first downs, but it has been at a high cost. And Los Alamitos, after that first series, plugging those holes, and as you said, Ron, teeing off, they are not more than 11 yards off the ball, the whole team.
No, I mean, and that really says when you play flat like that, what that says is you basically have just no concern about the speed of the opposing team.
Cooey going to the air. Big time rush, lobs it up there, look out.
Great job by John Cherie there to come off of his guy in front of him and come back in on the coverage there. John's a little disgusted with himself, thought he was going to have the interception. But I'll tell you what, that was great coverage because he basically covered two guys on that play.
Robert Watson was in the vicinity. That'll bring up a second down and 10 with 9:56 left here in the first half.
Well, and Fritz, this goes back to what I said. You know, it's essentially you're not seeing much respect for any speed on Marina's receivers because Cherie came up, did the tight cover two on the wide receiver, and then as soon as he saw the slot coming into position there, he dropped right back on top of him.
Well, if Cooey's going to lob those up all night, he's going to add to his interceptions. 6 interceptions before tonight's game.
Inside handoff on the part of Marina, and that didn't go for more than maybe a yard. Just a whole horde of Griffins on that one. Give the defensive line credit for that tackle.
Sam Wilson, the ball carrier. So that'll bring up a third down and 7. Nobody's up throwing, so we would expect that Clark Evans, if the defense can hold, will be back in. The question is for how long. Cooey's going to go from the shotgun.
Boy, big hard rush on Cooey. He's still trying to boogie away. Well, it does a good job of staying ahead of the guys.
Yep, Joe Lent took a dive at his feet.
But basically that was a throwaway ball. So once again, Marina's going to be forced to punt. Josh Barut going back to receive, getting his instructions from Coach Scheer there on what kind of return they want. In fact, Coach Scheer was talking to number 4 there, and I think they're probably going to call for a hard rush on this one. In fact, yeah, you see that Perez is in there.
Chase Robinson's going to stand on his 13-yard
Oh, they're going
line.
back. Oh, wait a moment, somebody jumped. All the Los Al guys, so they went back for a coverage on that one, for Los Al for coverage protection. And as soon as they stood up and started to pull back, the Marina guys jumped. Boy, it just goes from bad to worse for Marina right now.
Well, and you got to feel for them. I mean, you know, this is well, you're taking on an undefeated team. They are, Los Alamitos, the only unbeaten team in Sunset League play. The rest of the teams, besides Marina, are all at 4-1. Now, they've played very tough pre-league schedules.
Oh, I was going to say, when you look at the teams they've lost to, you can't say that, wow, that is a booming punt. That is a huge punt. That is awesome. If they can get to the ball, they can down it. I'll tell you what, it's been a long time since I've seen a punt like that on a high school field.
No kidding.
A long, long time. That's a 72-yard punt. I'll tell you what, if that kid can do that consistently, there is a future for him at the next level.
Absolutely.
That was a beauty.
Well, and let's face it, what a great asset, special teams. I mean, you got to take every advantage you can get. They've now pinned Los Alamitos deep. That ball, in most cases, may have been around the 35-yard line.
Well, and Los Al was set up for the return on that one by pulling the guys back. And, I mean, I tell you what, under pressure, he just comes up with a huge, I mean, that was just a huge punt.
So mark it inside the 5-yard line, and out comes Clark Evans, the senior. Still very lightly putting pressure on that right ankle.
Okay, Fritz, I think this is the first time we're going to see the two backfield back there with both Castaneda and Perez, and somebody jumped. Not that it makes much difference when you're on your own 4-yard line, because you're only going to go half the distance.
Well, yeah, but not at week 6, not at Los Al.
Right, yeah, they'll hear about it in film tomorrow. Yeah, I think this is one of the things that the players kind of dread when they play Thursday games, because they know if they play a Friday game, you know, usually they'll get the weekend off before they have to come in for film on Monday. But on a Thursday game, oh no, those coaches are going to be right at you on Friday afternoon.
It'll be a quick preview. So everyone, with the exception of the offensive line, is lined up in the end zone. Cody Perez finds a little lane, gets out across the 5-yard line, barely.
That's a good job by Cody. Picked up about 3-4 yards there. Number 22, Tyler Steen on the tackle there for Marina.
8:32 left in the first half. That'll be now 2nd down and 12 for the Griffins. We're going to keep that 2-back set in. Castaneda assuming that fullback position.
Again, delay handoff.
And chipping away at it will be well, this will be an interesting, well, it looks like if it's where they spot it, yep, first down. Great
Should be first
play.
down. So it looks like Steve Frazente again on the tackle for Marina.
So now the Griffins have a little bit of breathing room.
Yep, this is what you want. Get out towards about the 15-yard line. And whistles are blowing, so we don't know who called timeout here or what the call is.
Looks like they're maybe adjusting some of the equipment.
Might be an issue with the chains. Okay, looks like they got it fixed.
So Clark Evans, they're going to stick with that I formation, give it to Cody Perez. Why not?
Boy, I can hear Gene Volnagel right now. Run it till they stop it.
Yeah.
Robert Quick again on the tackle there.
And I'll tell you, that is just a punishing offense. I mean, the way Cody Perez runs, he just I mean, he'll find that little opening and he'll lay a hit on someone, and it's just wearing that defense down.
Oh, absolutely, Fritz. I mean, and the thing is, too, Los Al's O-line is just blowing holes open, and they're getting a good surge on the D-line of Marina.
Well, and some of this defensive line's going both ways, which doesn't help. There you go.
Well, the other thing, too, is that Marina's basically playing a 34 stack on defense, which means 3 down linemen, 4 linebackers, as Perez picks up about another 14, 15 yards there. And what that's allowing is Los Al's offensive linemen, basically 5 guys only have 3 guys to block, so that means 2 guys can get downfield and pick up linebackers, and I'll tell you, that just opens up all sorts of opportunities for the running backs.
Well, and here's the challenge you've got. You want to bring some of those DBs up to stop the run. Look out, you've got some pretty speedy guys at the receiver position. Castaneda with the carry. Not a bad pickup there, but you've just got so many weapons.
Yeah, Castaneda with a nice 6-yard pickup there. Robert Quick on the tackle. And you're right. I mean, you have so many options here. I mean, you got a 2-back backfield in there. And really what Los Al's doing, and this is what I saw a little bit of the last game, is that they're coming out with a power run game right now. You know, early in the season, it was kind of maybe a little mix and match. And boy, this is just beautiful from a coach's point of view, from Los Al's coach's point of view, because now you've got teams in the league got to start worrying about what offense are they going to see.
Castaneda goes far side, finds a lane, first down and then some.
Yeah, Castaneda, great job of seeing that the linebacker got inside on him, kind of just skidded to a stop and got downfield before Kayane of Westminster, not Westminster, but Marina could make the tackle. So Los Al picks up another first down, 6:17 left in the game. Tell you, Fritz, this is what you would like to see. It's workmanlike football. I mean, I can't think of a better phrase for it. Get your work done. Open the holes, make the runs.
Burn the clock, control it. And then you go to the air when you feel like it.
Wide open receiver. Richardson, great job holding on the ball.
Talk about the concentration, unbelievable.
Yeah, that's one of the things that really impresses me about how Paul Richardson plays the game, because he just does not allow anybody to get his eyes off the ball. I mean, he focuses in all the way, and that's a key thing. I mean, Fritz, how many times have we seen great receivers who have all the speed in the world, have the size, look like should be all world, and just never seem to be able to catch the ball?
Absolutely, and you can see when he's looking up for that ball, he knows, you can see it in his stride. He is going to come down with that ball. You can put 10 guys around him. He's going to out-jump them. He's going to concentrate on it. He'll leap at the right time. Zach Kadlitz tacks on the extra point, 28-0. Los Alamitos rolling.
Yeah, with just under half a quarter to go in the first half, Los Al's already piling on the points.
Now let's see, on the sideline, it'll be interesting, and of course the decision of when subs start coming in the game. We'll try to get you as many subs. Normally Coach Barnes likes to start substituting midway through the third, but 5:51 left. There's still some scoring opportunities here for the Griffins as you look at John Barnes.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the earliest I've ever seen John pull a set of players from the starters is basically first series after the second half started. I mean, that's usually, the earliest he'll pull them. He says, hey, those guys earned their, opportunity to be out there.
Ballas, number 81, stands on the far side on his 5-yard line. Now, what's been interesting, Ron, and just to kind of think down the road, Zach Kadlitz, if I recall, has only put the ball in the end zone once tonight. Is that correct?
That's correct. So I think the coaches would like to see that happen with a lot more frequency, especially coming up against Sunset League opponents who are definitely going to have opportunities to make runbacks.
Finding some running room on the far side.
Yeah, Ballas does a good job of getting back again out to about the 25-yard line.
And that was Douglas. So not a bad run back for the Vikings by Douglas, and Cooey comes on out. .544 left here in the
my
first half.
statistician just hands me walls. Cooey is 1 for 5 for 14 yards. Why do I care about that stat, Fritz? The one guy who's throwing the ball, we have no idea what he's done out here tonight. Oh, you got to have fun with the crew you work with.
Nice little lane there, Wilson.
Yeah, Wilson there finally got a little bit of running room.
Yeah, no kidding. Will be a couple of yards short of the, well, no, they're going to give him the first down.
Yeah, Barut made the tackle there. I mean, Wilson just kind of slow-moed his way through the whole linebacking core there.
So mark it at the 32-yard line, and you can now see why Sam Wilson is really what they're going to rely on all year long.
Yeah, but it's going to be a pretty tough season from now on out.
There he goes again, finds a little
good
bit of
speed.
lane, back out to another first down.
Yeah, I think the Marina coaches realize if they're going to do anything tonight, they're just going to have to jump on Sam Wilson's back. Shaquille Richardson on the tackle there, just jump on Sam Wilson's back and ride him as long as he can stay on his feet. But I tell you what, that's going to be a long rest of the year for him. I mean, you think about the way Edison hits on defense, Esperanza hits on defense, Newport Harbor hits on defense, even Fountain Valley hits pretty good on defense.
Marina coming near side, pickup of 5. Ball carrier there is Jordan.
Yeah, man in motion took the ball there from the quarterback. Shaquille Richardson again on that tackle. So for the first time, Fritz, I think we're actually seeing Marina move the ball.
Yeah, and they're being very businesslike about it. They are not delaying. Second down and 5, 1:27 left here in the first half. Who are we going to give it to Wilson?
Oh, great open field tackle there. Number 22 for Los Al, Robert Watson.
Going to the well a few too many times there. In fact,
Well, it's the only well they've got.
Yeah, the well's kind of dry in that respect.
I mean, 1 for 5 for 14 yards is not, well, with 1 interception and 1 near interception is not exactly what you call a lot of confidence in your QB to put the ball downfield.
Now, Sam Wilson, their key running back, has had more success on the left-hand side. This time they come right. Be interesting to watch that develop. Which side of the line do they like to go? They fake it, play action, Cooey.
Oh, great job again by the defense. Who was that that got up? Looks like Richardson was.
Richards,
Shaquille Richardson. Great job.
Interception.
Just skied up for that one, got a hand on it, knocked it out of the way. Looks like we have another punt situation for Marina.
So Josh Barut going to stand back on his
Chase Robinson, number 13, the punter. Okay, number 13, the punter.
Yeah, well, let's see how he does. We know he can boot it long. Now let's see if he can place it.
Remember, who's the last number 13, the punter?
Jeez, let me think.
Oh, fake punt, fake snap, and this is going to go for big yards.
Yep. Good call.
Yeah, nice play by Marina there. Caught Los Al napping on that play.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, number 21 for Los Al on the tackle there. Chris Fiskus took the run, and Twin Fernandez makes the tackle, so Marina keeps their hopes alive to get a score in the first half.
Well, good call by second-year coach Dan Patron. Trying to get something on the board before the halftime break, which is 3 minutes and 21 seconds away.
Well, you know, I mean, if you've seen 3 times in a row that Los Al's basically pulled half the rushers back to get it set up for a coverage, you know, protection on the coverage, I mean, not a bad call at all.
Wilson right up the middle and comes out the other side with about a 6-yard pickup.
Yeah, Twin Fernandez on the tackle there, number 21. Boy, this is a guy that finally came back off the injury list at the right time last week against Narbonne.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is one thing the coaches are happy about, too. Pretty much all the key players they need are off the injury list, including Chris Eaton, who had tweaked his knee. He's back. The question is whether or not, you know, he'll get in tonight is an issue. Still trying to see whether or not he's going to be able to be up to full playing strength. But Los Al there, great job. Number 81 gets the handoff. Wide receiver there, Jared Ballas. And Los Al just comes up, and Josh Barut just lays a hit on him, stops him after only about a 2-yard gain. So once again, I'd like to thank both McKenna Group and Penske Automotive for sponsoring. We couldn't do this without them. Also like to thank the Los Al Football Boosters Club.
Absolutely. So 3rd down and 3, coming off of that fake punt to keep this drive alive. What do they got in store now? Cooey going to keep it, and a helmet goes flying. The helmet picked up 15 yards, but should have enough for the first down.
Yeah, Cooey got the ball just over, and they're calling first down, move the chains. So Marina's actually got a drive going
Not
here.
bad.
Yeah, with
Anthony Nopolis with the stop.
A little under 2 minutes left.
So at some point, it's just about pride to get some points on the board with the clock now at 1:42 before the break. So Cooey climbs under center. Wilson your lone setback, rolling out. Castaneda.
This isn't going to happen this time. Yeah, Nathan Castaneda, who I would say is definitely faster than Zach Cooey.
Not only is he faster, he had a couple of options there. I can tackle him, I can strip the ball, I can make sure that he doesn't get a pass off just to save yardage. He wrapped him up, then tried to pull the ball away. So
right, Castaneda did a really smart play there. He got his hand on the throwing arm right away, and that stopped Cooey from even trying to throw the ball away to the sideline. So great play by Nathan Castaneda there. And we have timeout called by Marina.
So as we say, Los Alamitos trying to keep that goose egg, as Coach Barry Shear there talking to the defense, trying to keep that goose egg on the board. And for Dan Petrone in his second year, they want to get some points on the board, especially taking on a tough team like Los Alamitos before they go into the halftime break.
Right, and looking down at the sideline right now, I mean, we're watching the coaches talking to the defensive players, and, you know, the coaches are actually pretty calm at this point. They're not getting real excited. I mean, I think they're just telling the guys, listen, it's up to you guys. With 1:17, don't let them score. This is a pride thing for you.
Well, 2nd down and 15 with the ball in the 23, felt more like the 24-yard line. You're almost going to be forced to try something in the air.
Oh, boy, for Marina, that's a bad thing.
And you've got a condensed field here, so this could get real interesting.
Yeah, Marina in the air has got to bring nightmares to the offensive coaches.
Cooey going from the shotgun, going to give it to Wilson, and Wilson,
just stopped. Twin Fernandez just came up and met him at the line of scrimmage. And again, Fritz, this is where I'll say, give the credit to Los Al's D-line. They tie up 5 guys, leaving Twin Fernandez the option as the linebacker to just go find the running back and bring him down.
Twin Fernandez checked in last week.
Boy, with less than 50 seconds going in the game right now, Marina sure is not in any hurry to try and do anything here.
Well, this is going to take all your options away. You're going to have to commit to the error.
And now they call timeout. Boy, I don't understand this. You know what? This is playing not to lose the ball. I mean, I know what they're doing here. Basically what the coach is doing is, okay, I'll try a running play, and then I'm going to run my kicker out there and try with no time left to make a field goal. And you know what? This is high school ball. Go for it. You know, who are you trying to fool out here? Give you guys a chance to make the shot.
So they show 38 seconds on the clock. 3rd down and 16 before the break. And Marina probably, what, 15 seconds run off the clock?
Well, yeah, but it was deliberate. I mean, essentially what they're doing is they're saying, okay, let's see, we're going to get 25 seconds after this play runs. We'll run it down to 3 seconds, and then we'll run a guy out there for the field goal. And it's like, why would you want to play for basically a defeatist attitude? I mean, if I'm a coach, the one thing I've always felt you have to tell your players is you have confidence in them. You know, whether or not you really believe internally you can do it, you've got to project that confidence to them. And having the guys play to get the ball down to a field goal situation isn't projecting confidence. All right, they're looking for the throw. Oh, it's caught. It could be a touchdown. Wow, out of nowhere. Zach Cooey comes up with a great throw. Looks like it was number 8 for Marina.
Huffman
Huffman makes a great catch right in the middle of about 4
Yeah.
red shirts.
Well, and I didn't know who he was even going for there because there are 2 receivers that were in the same vicinity, which drew about 3 or 4 red shirts.
Boy, here we talk about why are the coach doing it, and then all of a sudden he pulls a rabbit out of the hat.
Well, congratulations to Marina. They're looking to now tack on the extra point.
And that looked plenty good. So Los Al will have 32 seconds when the kickoff occurs, but
Chase Robinson punches it through and tacks on the extra point. So the score 28-7. And all of that started, if you remember, from that fake punt. So a gutsy call kept that drive alive and got him 7 points.
Well, and Fritz, you know, we talked about Los Al had to make sure that they don't get caught napping, and I think maybe on that play they might have napped just a little bit because 4 red shirts in the same vicinity. For a moment, I thought for sure that someone was going to come down with the pick on that one. And especially with a quarterback that we've not seen put any real zip on the ball up to this point.
Well, and then let's go back to our opening. What do you have to be careful of? To not take this team too lightly. I mean, yeah, okay, so you got a 21-point differential here, but they still caught you a little bit asleep at the wheel.
Yeah, no one told them they were supposed to lose.
Right. So 32 seconds. They've got 32.1 on the board. I'm thinking, whoa, here we are at 3 minutes and 21 seconds. No, we are 32 seconds away from the halftime break. Josh Barut back for Los Alamitos, stands on his 7-yard line.
Oh, good kick. That's going to make the end zone. Barut just can't get to it.
Talk about some good directional kicking there. Not bad by the Vikings.
Well, the one thing it does, Fritz, is it didn't burn any time off, so now Los Al has 32 seconds, and against the La Habra game with 32 seconds left in the half, and we didn't think Los Al was going to do anything, all of a sudden come up with a big, long throw from Clark Evans down to Richardson, and Los Al scored.
Chase Robinson continuing to impress with his kicking skills. So Clark Evans continues to stay in this game. He's had a bit of time to rest with that Marina drive. Will be interesting to see after halftime how long he is in. Now they've got Cody Perez out of the game at running back, and Castaneda.
Oh, Castaneda's still on his feet. Oh, they're just going to run this one out. Yep. No reason to do any heroics on this one.
Michael Mente in at the fullback position. And that will take it to the halftime break. So we'll wait till the clock. We've got to get ready for that gun. There we go. Halftime break, 28-7. Los Alamitos on top. Ron, your thoughts and observations after the first half of play?
I mean, I've seen Los Al just be very in control. Just move the ball, grind the ball. I like the way that they're mixing up both the passing offense and the power run offense. Their defense has played very well. Marina, I'll give them credit, came back right there at the end of the first half, just not giving up. I think they're totally outmatched, to be honest, both physically and play-wise. I mean, I don't think they have the same playbook Los Al has. But as I said, no one told them they were supposed to lose.
Well, folks, it is the Sunset League, and anything can happen. One of the most powerful leagues in Southern California, so don't go away. The score, 28-7. Stick around. We have the Los Alamitos High School Olympian Marching Band coming up. We're going to cover that, and then we'll be back for exciting second half action. Stick around, everyone.
Hey, I'm here with another Hall of Famer, JT Snow of Los Alamitos Athletics fame, class of '86. JT, why don't you share with the fans at home some of your activities while you were at Los Alamitos?
Just football, basketball, baseball. Played all three. Had a great time playing all of them.
Very lucky to be able to play in a time where you could play all 3 sports, and you weren't pressured just to play 1 or 2, and the coaches loved you to play all 3. So a lot of good memories coming back here. Haven't been back for a lot of years, live up in the Bay Area now, and it's nice to be back.
Give me one most fond Los Al football memory.
It's got to be us beating Esperanza my senior year here at Gar. Last play of the game, or very late in the game, I threw a touchdown pass to Rob Katzeroff. First time that Los Al had ever beaten Esperanza in football, so that had to be it. And then things started rolling from there. Now look at the program. It's one of the best in the country.
Absolutely. Now, by the way, we were able to talk to Robbie Katzeroff a little bit earlier. That was his favorite moment, too. Yeah, so I think that's obviously a pretty exciting game. Now, some folks may not know that after leaving Los Al, you didn't give up sports altogether, did you?
No, I was lucky enough to go to the University of Arizona on a baseball scholarship and played there for 3 years. Was drafted by the New York Yankees in 1989 and went through their minor league system, traded to the Angels, and broke into the major leagues with the Angels. 4 years there, and then traded to the Giants up in San Francisco, where I spent 9 years. Finished half season with the Red Sox. So I got to live a dream. I played 13 years in the major leagues. Played at a great college program, and had a lot of fun, made a lot of friends along the way, and something I always wanted to do. I stayed healthy and stayed out of trouble, and just kind of did my thing, and it all paid off.
One thing I wanted to ask now, something that's unique is it's not that often you actually get to play for your hometown team. So how exciting was that when you found out that you were actually going to be playing for the Angels?
You know, it was exciting. I think it was a little overwhelming at times. Anytime you're breaking into any major sport and you're playing in your hometown, it's really, really tough. There's a lot of support. There's a lot of people there on a nightly basis, but you know, we're there to do our job and get established and get our career underway. I really felt like when I got traded to San Francisco, I got a chance to catch my breath and to relax and really enjoy the game and play. And I think that's where my career took off, and that's where I grew as a baseball player, was up in San Francisco. Not to say that my years here with the Angels weren't good and fun, because they were, but it's tough. I always tell people, if you're going to play in your hometown, it's probably best to maybe do it at the end of your career when you've been established and you've kind of done your thing. So it was tough. It was hard. A lot of people from Los Al at games on a nightly basis wanting you to sign autographs and meet their kids and family. And a lot of times we just don't have time for that, because believe it or not, it's our job and we got a job to do. And we got to try and stay focused. And it was at times was hard to do down here with the Angels.
I can imagine. Hey, congratulations on the Hall of Fame, and thank you so much.
All right, you got it. Thanks, guys.
Well, thank you very much, Keith Jones, and always great seeing J.T. Snow, a somewhat of a legend from Los Alamitos, played baseball here for the Angels, as was noted, and ended his career up in San Francisco. We saw him in that great World Series game and a series. They ended up losing to the Angels, and while we were having that interview, it was the Cody Perez show.
Yeah, Cody's been doing a great job running downfield. Quick on the tackle there. Okay, real quick also, we'll do some stats as far as quarterbacks. Evans, 7 for 9, 143 yards, 3 TD passes, also 1 rushing TD. Cooey, 2 for 6 for 35 yards, 1 TD pass. And then as far as receiving, Jenkins, 4 catches for 36 yards. Richardson, 2 catches for 73 yards and 2 TDs. Boy, he's getting good at that. All he does is catch TDs. And then Perez, 1 catch for 34 yards in the TD. And Perez, 11 carries for 62 yards, so a very productive night right now for Los Alamitos.
Well, and to catch Cody Perez behind the line of scrimmage, that has not happened much tonight.
Yeah, Robert Quick again. Quick is getting quick on the ball along with Chris Fiskus. Yeah, one thing I'll say about JT, I mean, my boys had a chance to meet him a couple times at some of the baseball camps around the area, and just a great young man.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd come out and talk to the kids and sign autographs for them. But I still say, I think the best play he ever made was in the World Series.
Saving
Dusty Baker's
saving the coach's
son
kid.
goes running out right in the middle of the play, and JT just does that snatch job, grabs him up and yanks him out of the way.
Clark, Richardson, look out.
Slip screen, he's off to the races. But the other thing a lot of people don't know about JT is, you know, he said, hey, I got a scholarship to Arizona for baseball. JT, Sam Wilson on tackle there, JT was actually offered scholarships in 3 different sports. That's how good an athlete he was. And I mean, I'll tell you what, if any of you ever have a chance to have a son or daughter who gets a scholarship and goes to play at a college, whether they have the success JT has or just get in and get their education, you will realize how phenomenal that is.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and when he was playing for the Angels here, I remember hearing about the fact that people wanted tickets, and he was playing first base, so wanted to be on the first base side, and that can be a lot of pressure on a young player playing in your own hometown, especially as popular as he was on the western side of Orange County. Angel Stadium, heck, that's a great place to visit, and that was a distraction for him.
Yep. Okay, Fiskus getting on the tackle, and they stop Perez again near the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard behind. So Losal again marching downfield. Now, it looks like Clark Evans is moving a little bit better on that foot, but boy, I bet you they really taped it up this time inside the locker room. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they froze it a little too.
Yeah, it does look a little bit better. He did not come out with the captains to open the second half, which we were looking through the binoculars wondering if maybe he wasn't coming out, but he jogged out moments later and back on the field. Ron, he is taking a lot of time.
Yeah, this is not a quick developing pass play anywhere here, and Drew Jordan on good coverage there over there on the sideline against Jenkins. And I agree with you, Fritz. I mean, it's got to be 1, 2, 3 drop throw.
Which, and I don't know, last week you didn't have that kind of time. He was getting rid of the ball and making some good reads on it. Right here, you wonder, are they almost playing to the level of the opponent?
I think they are. To be honest, I really think they are. I think Clark has gotten used to having 4 to 5 seconds to throw every time and just isn't staying in that rhythm of, 1, 2, 3 drop throw.
Give it to Cody Perez.
Caught
at the line, but still picks up 4 or 5.
Quick again on the tackle there, so he's looks like pretty much been given the task of if Cody Perez is anywhere on the field, your job is make sure he's tackled. So looks like Cadlitz is going to come out here for the field goal attempt. It should be about 37 yards. Should be well within his range.
Well, now, if I'm not mistaken, he's already punched a 38-yarder through to open the season against Mayfair.
Yeah, and that kick could have easily gone 50 plus.
It went well beyond. So may need this later in the year. This is a good time to practice.
That's not a good kick. That time didn't get the foot underneath the ball and just kind of knuckled it all the way down there. So not what the coaches wanted to see on that play.
Well, and again, with a high-scoring team like Los Alamitos, a lot of times you're not kicking field goals. And then when you need one to win a game, this could be some interesting time for Los Alamitos and their special teams to try to tack some points on. Zach Cadlitz will likely be called on later in the year to win a game with a field goal. You can almost feel it coming with the Esperanzas and the Edisons.
Oh, well, Fritz, how many games? I mean, Esperanza, how many times do they play?
Yep.
What's the total point differential? 5 points after all those games? I mean, you always know it's pretty much a close game. Very rare is it ever a blowout for either side. So Anthony Napolis on the tackle there. And again, Marina's trying to do the same thing. Just come out and give it to Wilson and see what he can gain for yardage. And they picked up 5 on the first down, so that was a good play.
Tell you, back to JT Snow, he was in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
He looked like he'd go out there and play right now.
Yeah. He's working out a little bit.
So Cooey from the shotgun. Wilson, the lone setback, and the little mix-up there on the handoff, and that
yeah, I'm not sure
or what that was.
Yeah, whether that was deliberately supposed to be a quarterback keeper or if Cooey all of a sudden realized he was supposed to hand off and had forgotten to, because Frembling falls on top of Cooey after he hits the ground. But
well, and let's face it, this is an important drive for Marina. They put the stop on Los Alamitos, and they came off of that score right before halftime. So if you kind of draw this up in your head, they can keep this drive going and put some points on the board. That would be a huge benefit to them, but they've got to get out of this 3rd and 8, which usually means they're going to the air. They've got trips on the near side. First time we've seen that tonight, a la Los Alamitos, and
nice
that won't be
cutback.
enough. Good
Yep.
thought.
Good thought, but nice coverage by Losal. Robert Watson, one of the first guys to get there and help on the tackle, along with Josh Barut. So Losal has Marina deep in their own territory with 4th down. Now, I would say if you call a fake punt on this one, boy, that's a gutsy call by the coach. It's 2 yards to go, but I have a feeling this time Losal will bring the rush.
Ballas was the receiver on that last play, and
Barut back to receive.
Chase Robinson stands on his 15. He's been kicking them good.
Drop that one.
Fumbles it, still gets it off. Not too bad, but boy, he did, what was it, 72-yarder.
Well, he's going to get a good one here because of the bounce. I mean, it was ugly coming off his foot, but it's going to end up on the 28-yard line. So basically 28 to 28, he gets a 44-yard punt, which on the books looks pretty good because it's a net 44 yards, but good thing there's no video on the scorecard.
So Los Alamitos going to bring it out. Let's see what Clark Evans looks like after the halftime break and some heavy tape.
Still seeing pretty much the first team heading out there.
Well, and again, the Vikings put the stop on to open up the first series of the third quarter, and so not the kind of breathing room Barnes likes when he's going to start putting in the second string. Cody Perez.
Perez on the run there, but I'll tell you what, nice play by Evans and Perez as far as the way they did the handoff there, because one of the Marina players was coming right up on top of Perez. Looked like one of the inside linemen, and he just went right by him. I mean, didn't even realize he had the ball, and it looks like number 1, Kobe Gahando, made the tackle there for Marina.
So that brings up a second down and long 1. Let's call it maybe 2. Empties the backfield. Clark Evans going all by himself.
Oh boy, Richardson is going to add 3 for 3 here for a touchdown.
Wow, what kind of blown coverage was that? How do you let that guy get behind you?
You obviously were relying on a safety to come up and help you with coverage, and he was looking for another coverage scheme. I mean, Paul Richardson keeping this string of, well, if I'm only going to catch 3 catches a game, I'm going to make sure they all go to the house.
Oh, great play. And as we had said earlier in the year, if you'd caught any of our broadcasts, it seemed like Richardson and Clark Evans were having trouble getting on the same page. And in fact, even we saw some frustration from Richardson at times where maybe he was overthrown, underthrown, what have you. But boy, starting last week, forget about that. They were completely on the same page.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, a great throw. Richardson stretched out to get the ball. So maybe they will keep the pink gloves.
They may be here to stay. So the word on that tonight is this game is dedicated to raising money for breast cancer, and they were selling the little pink ribbons, and the teams decided they were going to get into the action, and so Los Alamitos said they would do the pink gloves. Now, can you buy them that way, or do you color them that way?
No, I think you can actually buy them that way.
Well, then there you have it. So for those of you who want to buy pink football gloves, they are available. I don't know how available.
Much a special order,
yeah, really.
Fritz. I can't think of
any
football team in the U.S. that
right.
has a pink.
Well, we'll just leave it at that. I guess
color theme.
Tell us exactly how many you want, because we are not going to make any overstock here. And then on the other side of the ball, and there was some contact made from Los Alamitos over to Marina. They wanted to get in on the action. So as we came in today, there was supposedly a competition as to which side could raise more money, all for the benefit of breast cancer.
Well, now this time we see Cavlis just drive the ball deep into the end zone. Fritz, I'm going to say, I mean, Zach's got the leg. What he's got to find is the consistency.
And let's face it, tonight's game isn't terribly representative of what they'll be facing for the rest of the season. That could become one of the most significant factors in taking some returns away. And like you said, he can do it. We've seen him do it consistently on and off throughout the season. So it's not an issue of leg strength.
Yeah. And you know, that's one of the things, I mean, I know the coaches will keep emphasizing to him, and I know, I mean, I definitely have knowledge of what punters and kickers go through, and that Zach is obviously trying to do the best he can every time he's out there, but it's part of the job, you know, is that it's the consistency. That's all.
Ball's on the ground. Los Al recover.
Looks like number 65 for Los Al knocked the ball loose. And that would be Jacob Frembling knocking it loose, and then I'm not quite sure, maybe Schnitzer fell down on the ball. So the big boys make a play downfield. But getting back to the theme, you know.
That's Pau that looks
Mason
like he
Powell
ended
came
up with it.
Number 99, okay. Yeah, and Fritz, through all levels, what really separates college from high school and pros from college for punters and kickers is absolutely consistency. There's a lot of guys that can do the job. And to go, when you think about it, there's 115 guys that'll punt in college or kick in college. And then there'll be 32 of those guys in the pros.
Right.
And if you've got 115 guys in college that can punt or kick at the Division I level, I can tell you there's probably 30 to 40 of them every year coming out who are good enough and have the leg strength. It's really down to the 3 or 4 who have the consistency.
Clark Evans
Boy, here we
in
go
the
again.
corner.
This time it's Jenkins gets the reception for the TD. I mean, this is just turning into a score fest.
Yeah.
All right. At this point, this has got to be get him off the field. It's over. Throw the juniors out there. Let 'em go.
That was a dart.
Yeah, great throw. So some of the fans are saying, okay, with 4 minutes left in the third quarter, it's pretty clear this game's taken control of. But you know what? It's not just punters and kickers. I mean, it's every level. It's the difference between, people every year look at and say, gosh, this guy looked like all world. He was a Heisman Trophy winner as a quarterback in college. How come he never made it in the pros? It can come down to size. It can come down to consistency. It could come down to adjusting to the speed of the game at the next level. And, there's just so many factors that just separate. And when you start looking at the higher levels, you go from high school to college, basically coaches are looking for potential.
Yep.
You go from college to pros, if you ever read a scouting report on a college player by a professional scout, you will think the guy cannot walk and chew bubble gum because the report is absolutely negative. Every aspect they look at, it's like, he can't do this, he can't do that. The reason why they write him that way is they're searching for that 0.1% that segregates the guy from everybody else. And they're saying, okay, how many bad things does he have and how few of those are there? And it's really, you're looking for the guy with the least amount of, bad traits so that you can quickly get him trained up at the next level. And it's amazing. I mean, it really is.
It becomes a business.
Yeah, it is.
It is a business.
So here we see Zach Callis again. Boy, his leg now, I will say, Zach's starting to get a workout.
42-7, and we have seen an aerial show tonight. And a low line drive, that taken by an up man at about the 14-yard line.
Still on his feet. Gets out to about the 30-yard line.
Okay, now,
so Robert Quick.
So, Ron, that kick there.
Yes.
Was that on purpose in your mind?
That's not on purpose. What that is that is not coming down underneath the ball. That's coming up along the side of the ball. That's why you see almost that spiral side kick coming off the ball. I mean, on a kickoff, the ball should be coming end over end every time when it comes off the ball. It means you have to get your foot under the ball, and you have to drive the ball off the tee, And again, that's why I said that's consistency. I mean, it's a case of, it's little things, I've asked my son, how big is the contact patch he has on an NFL football where he feels he can really hit it consistently and boom the ball. And he says, Dad, it's about the size of a quarter.
Wow.
Yeah, and he has to hit that every time. Okay, there we see big number 47 on the run. Oh, nice run there. Nice job by Barut to come up. Or no, that's Robert Watson.
That's Dana Gomez with the carry, and he is a big body, 6'4", 180, only a junior.
Okay, our spotter just pointed out to us, it looks like they're starting to warm up another QB down there on the side of the field, so that's number 12, I believe, Cook for Los Al.
Yep.
So maybe we're going to start seeing some of the guys coming in. Okay, I'm going to say Cook is a sophomore or a junior, Fritz?
We've got he's a junior, 173-pounder, 5'10". And there we go on the far side.
So it looks like a first down for Marina.
Gomez going to continue handling the ground game.
Yep, Jacob Fremling on the tackle there. Well, I'm not sure. Maybe Wilson is. No, Wilson now comes back in. Gomez goes out.
Wow, Gomez looked pretty good there.
Yeah, maybe Wilson just needed a little bit of a rest. He's been going both ways all night long.
So that's a first down and 10 with 2:51 left here in the third quarter.
42-7 for the Griffins.
They're going to go with the I formation. Wilson. Boy, he's a nice runner. If they had a little bit more to kind of take attention off of him,
Yeah, Watson looked like he was the first guy to make contact, and then Nathan Castaneda completed the tackle. So, yeah, it's he's kind of a bruising runner himself. I mean, he carries a load when he runs in there.
So clock continues to run. That'll be a 2nd down and 3 for the Vikings. Ball on the 48-yard line. Again, Los Alamitos very close to the line of scrimmage. Wilson gets the call, and he's going to lose a couple on this one.
Yeah, Los Al didn't go for the fake there. Joe Lent got in on the tackle there, number 10 for Los Al. They faked again that handoff to the man in motion, but Los Al did a good job reading it and picked up Wilson right away for no gain.
So that'll be a 3rd down and 4.
Well, I'll tell you on defense, I'm not seeing any real fresh bodies in yet, so the coaches are still going probably all the way through 3rd quarter before we'll probably start seeing anybody.
Well, and unlike last week, Ron, and you made the note how few kids traveled last week to the game, and of course tonight we see most of the JVs, if not all.
Well, it's a home game. I mean, it's not as big a trip. I mean, one of the things is when you're going up to Narbonne, you probably have potentially an hour-long bus ride on the way up, and as the coaches say, you want to keep the kids focused the whole time while they're on that trip. And it's a lot easier to focus 48, 55 guys than it is to focus 70 guys. And especially, if the guys that are the difference are guys who probably aren't going to play in the game. You can't see it right now, but we can see it. JT Snow's talking to Coach Barnes. They're probably trading some stories from the old times. And
well, and what's so unique about that is we're right in the middle of the game.
Yeah.
and it is so rare that Barnes even has that headset off.
Yeah.
And here he is. He's standing at the 30-yard line.
You can tell John's pretty relaxed right now. He's not too worried about the score. In fact, he probably gave it over and said, you know what, Barry, you call the rest of the game out. I'm going to go over and talk to JT. Haven't seen him in a while. I want to trade some stories with him.
And I do think that the coaching staff
the
up
coaching
here in the
staff
booth
is out of the
have headed
box.
down. Now, Ron, if Barnes comes up into the stands, that will be an all-time.
No, John would never do that. No. I mean, he would never disrespect an opposing team to that extent. But you can tell. I mean, he's just probably going, well, JT, what do you think? Think they could have beat your team?
3rd down and 4, 1:26 left here in the 3rd quarter. Ball on the 48-yard line. Cooey.
Still on his feet. Oh, now he gets taken down hard.
Joe
Lent just hammered him head first into the ground. I think Cooey's going to get up and go, oh, boy, who hit me? But, that's part of it, too. When you think about all the athletes that John Barnes has coached over the years, and I'll say it's not just athletes, it's all the other great players that have gone through and done other great things in the community and worked their way through, just really, really excellent.
Well, and he cares so much about them. They come back. They speak very high. Look at talking about the first Esperanza win. Criminy sakes, that was many years ago.
Well, another great punt by Mortensen here. Boy, that was just a great kick, great hang time. I mean, that's the first time I've seen in a long time any punter get about 4.5 to 4.8 seconds of hang time on a punt. That is what stops a guy from returning.
Chase Robinson.
Robinson, not Mortensen, yeah. So, good job by Robinson.
Well, back to Coach Barnes, I mean, he cares a lot about these kids, and it's obvious, and they care a lot about him and this program. And it's just nice to see the camaraderie and the return, and a lot of these kids have come out and helped out with the team and have been coaches. A lot of them stick around.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I'll say is that, a coaching staff is doing a great job when the players want to come back and keep hanging around the coaches.
Go to the field after the play, please.
So again, we're still running the ball, moving upfield.
And we are now down at 30 seconds before the halftime break. I should say the 3rd quarter break. When we get to that break, before the 4th quarter, we are going to throw downstairs and we're going to see the tally and some kind of presentation with regard to this breast cancer fundraiser that is taking place at the gate of this game.
Okay, and they're just going to let the clock run. In fact, one of the players for Los Al has his helmet off, trying to adjust something on it. So, as we come to the end.
What's it like when you hear your calling? Will you ignore it, or will you listen? What if it calls you to...
Week 1 contest, Sunset League, 42-7. Los Alamitos comfortably on top, and in we should see some fresh bodies.
Yeah, I'm starting to see a whole lot of guys out here now. In fact, Castaneda now has the ball, putting the moves on, heading upfield, still on his feet, still cutting. Boy, Nathan Castaneda just putting a little show on out there.
And Dalen Cook checks in at QB, and wow, what a great game to check into with a great lead and still some of your starters backing you up.
Yeah, in fact, we're starting to see a whole lot of numbers out there now, guys getting in. We'll try to get a lot of them because we know we don't get an opportunity very often, especially in Sunset League play, to even call out some of the guys. So in at wide receiver, seeing Travon Bennett. He's a sophomore, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot of sophomores. Coaches are pretty high on their sophomores and freshmen this year. In fact, the freshman team doing very well.
Looks like Chris Eaton's in.
Yeah, that's one of the things we wanted to see. Let him get a chance to get in and start working into this game and get his game speed back up. Also, Haven Fielding at wide receiver.
Castaneda stays in, takes the handoff from Cook. Maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage.
Try and pick up a few more numbers for everybody here.
Haven Fielding in. Looks like at a receiver spot.
Josh Gasser in, also as wide receiver. He's a junior.
In fact, we saw Gasser start in the first couple of games this year. Houston in on the offensive line, right tackle. On the near side, Travon Bennett, receiver.
All right, quick lateral out to the left side there. You know, Fritz, one thing I want to say is that other than a few of the false start penalties early in the game, this has been pretty much a penalty-free game the whole way through.
Cleaned up real quick.
Yeah, both teams have been executing very well, not really making any mistakes. I can think of only one penalty for Los Al. That was the running into the kicker, but that wasn't even taken, so it's not a penalty. And, the false start they had down near their own goal line, which really didn't penalize them. So, yeah, been pretty much a penalty-free game.
So Cook going to give it to Castaneda right up the center.
Good job by Los Al's O-line, still opening up holes for Castaneda. Still look like a lot of Marina starters in the game.
Yeah, David Foote, some of that O-line still names you're going to recognize. Matt Houston, we've already referenced, as the right tackle.
Oh, just under 9:40 left to go in the game. Referee started looking at his watch. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the coaches are trying to run as much time off between plays as possible. Well, if Cook doesn't get this play, yeah, there it goes. He lost track of the time. No, don't look at the coaches and shake your head. That's your call. That's part of what he'll learn out here.
And the frustrating part is that was a 4th and 1, so.
Yeah, coaches are going to, kind of go, hey, that was your call, your chance to make it happen.
Drew Jordan back for the Vikings, and he will stand on his 16-yard line.
Okay, so getting Annapolis out here. A couple of players. Now this is when it gets interesting, like when you get a punt team on the field, because obviously the coaches aren't going to shuttle in the JV punt team. So they need to remind the starters that even though you guys aren't in the game as far as playing your normal positions, you still have to come out on special teams. Okay, Cadlitz with a decent punt up. Kick sideways and back a little bit, so Los Al knocked the ball down about the 28-yard line. Number 77 for Los Al there on the knockdown.
Zotnik knocks that punt down, and the Vikings will have another shot at it, staring down a 42-7 score. Zach Cooey.
And again, a whole lot of new Griffins coming in on defense. Seeing a lot of clean jerseys in there right now. See if we can get some of these names for you.
Cooey.
Boy, just nothing to be gained there.
Wilson.
Oh, still moving the legs a little bit for Wilson.
So even with some second stringers in there, Wilson a little tireder than maybe in the first half, not much.
Sam McClendon in there. DB, seeing him in.
Sam McClendon back, looks like at a linebacker spot.
Looks like
Jeff
number
Terry.
94. Yeah, Matt Martin in there on the D-line. Oh, quarterback trip. Couldn't get the play off. It looks like he's trying to make yardage and probably made about 4 yards on the play. Actually,
Well,
maybe even a little more.
Josh Barute went head over heels. He's getting up kind of slow.
Yeah, he got his bell rung a little bit there. I think he's going to tell the coach, hey, let somebody else go in. I think I'm done for the day.
Oh, man, that hurt. Yeah, clock continues to run. We are at 7:52.
Well, Marina actually made about 5 yards out of what looked like a busted play because it looked like Cooey was going to hand off to Wilson, and he just stumbled as he was coming out of the snap and missed the handoff. Oh, Wilson's he's still on his feet. Good job. Boy, nice way to keep those legs moving there. Twin Fernandez on the tackle because Wilson went right in the line, looked like he was stopped dead, but just did a spin move and picked up about 8 yards.
So you can see where all the pressure lies on the offense. Sam Wilson is it.
Okay, looks like right now for Losell, we got number 89, Joseph Coromelis in on the D line. So the coaches are rotating a few guys in and out.
You know, as you think back, Ron, players at smaller schools will take, nice play action, and pass is complete. That'll be enough for a first down.
Yeah, it looks like Chris Fiskus made the reception there.
But you look at teams where they are very one-dimensional. I'm thinking back to a player who's been in the news recently in the professional ranks. That's Tony Gonzalez. When he played for Huntington Beach, it was the Tony Gonzalez show.
It was Tony left, right, center. I mean, backwards,
and he'd
forwards.
carry half the defense with him.
Tony was a monster in high school. I mean, I think Tony at 12 years old hit 6'5", 250.
But I mean, that was the whole offense, and of course he was strong enough to carry it because Los Alamitos
absolutely
played them in the
championship.
And won. But I'll tell you, Tony Gonzalez made a game of it.
Single-handedly took Huntington Beach all the way. And the other thing a lot of people don't remember, Tony was an awesome basketball player.
Yep.
I mean, could easily dunk the ball. Easily dunk the ball.
So 6:39 left here in week 1 of the Sunset League season. Things heat up pretty quickly for the Griffins as they head into the heart of that very tough Sunset League. You've got Edison, Esperanza, Fountain Valley coming up. Newport Harbor, which beat Los Alamitos in the final minutes last year.
Which basically locked Los Alamitos out of the playoffs. That was the one loss they couldn't afford. Twin Fernandez on the tackle there, so still a few starters out there. Looks like number 83 going in for Los Al now. That would be
Alex Jenkins. Yeah, if you go back to that, if you'll recall last year when we were having all of those wildfires in Orange County, they actually canceled that Friday night game because of the poor air quality. And at some point, Coach Barnes was lobbying to not even play that game. And many schools were debating that issue. A lot of them did end up playing them that weekend. So we see Wilson with another carry.
And we have a flag on the play finally. Josh Schnitzer on the tackle there.
And so Los Alamitos ended up playing Newport Harbor on a Monday, which was a strange situation.
Right.
Then had to play again later that week. But they did get the game in. And, you know, they knew that Newport Harbor was going to be a tough game, and I think for Los Alamitos figured if we didn't have to play it. That would be probably better for us, get ready for the playoffs. But in a last-minute drive, Newport Harbor posts the win, and that cost Los Alamitos a playoff spot. And Ron, what was that? The first playoff that they had missed?
27 years that Los Al had not made it to the playoffs. I mean, almost as long as John Barnes has been coaching at Los Al.
And I remember that vividly because normally we're getting ready for a game in and around Thanksgiving.
Yep.
And I'll tell you, the field was eerily vacant. I mean, it's just we're kind of all walking around. I even called Barnes during that span of time. And I said, "What are you doing? This is strange.
Yeah.
Shouldn't you be getting ready for a game?" But his son was playing, and so he says, "Well, I'm helping my son out." So there was still football going on at the Barnes house.
Little screen pass there. Oh, nice catch after the tip. That's number 7 for Marina, and that is Delano Douglas made the catch there. And again, Twin Fernandez on the tackle. So Marina still trying to make another score here.
Well, and hats off to them. I mean, hey, they're in a dogfight. They're not going to come out of this with the win, but they're looking to just get some scores. And, who knows? They may take on someone like a Fountain Valley. And
well, that's the whole thing. I mean, for them is basically to catch someone like a Fountain Valley napping. So Josh Schnitzer, I think, finally gets a chance to come out of the game, get a rest with just under 5 minutes to go.
Fourth down and 6. Rolling out just off the fingertips.
That looked like number 8. And that was Mitch Huffman. So Los Al's going to take over on downs. And Fritz, this is what I talked about when I was watching the warm-ups for Marina. You can just tell a lot of their receivers just aren't used to receiving the ball. I mean, they were dropping easy passes during the warm-ups.
No, I watched it too. There was just not a good connection there.
Well, at this point, I think pretty much we're going to see probably the JV team that'll play tomorrow come out on the field. Be kind of neat for them, get a chance to come out, play a couple minutes in the varsity game, and then get ready for tomorrow's game.
So Dalen Cook. And now we've got timeout Vikings.
By Marina.
Now that is interesting.
Yeah, that was surprising because it's not like you're going to expect a powerhouse offense coming at you. Well, we'll try to pick up a few names of the guys that are coming out now. Jake McDowell on the O-line. See if we can pick up some numbers here. Griffin Hewitt. We're just trying to identify him as fast as we can. Adam Greenthal. Cody Perez comes over to listen to the coach talking to the players. It's like, nah, Cody, you're done. Get out of here.
Well, in fact, we talked about when they took him off of defense to have him play running back. Coach Barnes said, if I see you over there on the defensive field, you're going to have a problem. You're playing at running back, and that's it. But we have seen Cody come in for some injuries and play a couple of series at defense. That's probably where he'd prefer to be. But, man, what a great addition at running back he's been this year.
Right. He definitely is. Try to see who's in the backfield along with Dylan Cook. Well, it's a handoff.
That's William Avalos.
Avalos, okay. Number 13.
A junior.
Now, I will tell you, number 13 is a very storied number at Los Al. I can think of at least 4 All-American high school football players who have had that number.
Big shoes to fill.
Yep. When you wear that number, you better have some game.
Now checking in at running back is Nick Richardson.
Oh, and he's hit hard. Number 15 for Marina just steps up. Devin Perkins just laid a hit. Richardson's probably going, yow.
Well, Richardson, a sophomore.
Now, if I understand this right, I believe he's Paul Richardson's younger brother.
Well, then there's some good genes there.
Yeah, and I think Shaquille Richardson is either a younger brother or a cousin.
And there's some good genes there.
Yeah.
So,
We have a lot to thank the Richardson family.
Yeah,
for.
and we will probably be calling their name for a few more years.
And we
to
saw
come.
a few younger Richardsons being ball boys at one of the
Yes,
games.
yes, we. In fact, well, major hit there as Cook goes down. In fact, I think we were actually in awe of some of the moves that the little ball boy had.
Whoever the youngest Richardson is, I think, this may be one of those cases. He may have the best moves of the whole.
Yeah, and that's only our observation from just watching him throw the ball around while the referees were waiting for the game ball. So,
okay. Well, it looks like Cavlis is going to go on the field. And
3 and out for the Griffins. And now it's just a matter of running time off. 2:50 left here in this contest. Marina Vikings standing on his 35-yard line.
Good snap. That's a pretty good punt. Fair catch called. So looks like number 7 for Marina there, Delano Douglas, makes the fair catch at the 35-yard line. So Marina had just under 2.5 minutes to try and put another score on the board. And again, Los Al's going to send a lot of fresh faces out there.
So that'll bring up the first down 10 on the punt, ball on the 34-yard line.
And Aaron Davis in now at linebacker. And I'm seeing Miles Andrews in at DB. It looks like the coaches are pretty much emptying the bench tonight.
Looks like we may have a new quarterback in for Marina.
Yeah, it is. Number 11. Boy, there's Gomez. Boy, that guy's a big load to take down. Oh, he's just running over bodies. And number 11, Jeff Shennett. He's a junior for Marina, so probably the guy who's going to take over next year from Cooey. Tell you what, Gomez, that guy's a load.
Well, and it's a little surprising they haven't gone to him more. They could set up some nice, moves with fakes to Wilson, which does draw most of the attention. But Gomez more productive here and getting a lot of the handoffs here in the second half. Didn't see him much in the first half.
Well, and one thing I'll question, too, is it says he's 6'4", 180, and I'll tell you what, he is the heaviest-looking 180 I've ever seen. I'd say that's more like 210. Again.
Lost the ball, possibly. Let's see.
Oh, they're calling it down.
Gomez moves pretty well. So that'll bring up a second down and 5, ball on the 45-yard line, and we are at 1.5 minutes left in week 6 of this 2008 season. Griffin fans heading for the stands, the cheerleaders finding a lot of vacant seats that they're cheering for.
Well, at this point in the game, 42-7, I mean, it's pretty well a foregone conclusion. Again, Gomez cuts, oh, nice job. Ball's loose. Nope, they're calling Gomez was down.
Yeah, I mean, he almost lost it on the last one, so he does carry it a little loosely there. Under a minute to go.
And Justin Nuzzo, hopefully I said that right, comes in for Los Al. And Mike Sevillano, I'm sorry, let me pronounce that right, Sevillano, comes in also for Los Al. So coach is taking this opportunity to get a lot of guys in here, get a few varsity minutes in. It's always nice to be able to do that.
And we are going to try to get Coach Barnes at the end of the game, so bear with us. Well, that's one of the nicer pass and catch plays of the evening.
Yeah, number 1 for Marina there, Kobe Gajardo makes the catch. Looks like they picked up a first down. And I think Marina is calling probably their last time out. So on the 37-yard line of Los Alamitos with 2:14 to go.
So for Marina, looking to just maybe even just pull off another play or two that they could remember by this game, and they'll have to walk out of here with a 2-4 record.
And the Los Al coaches, well, the Griffins there playing around on the sideline. Yeah, everybody's getting a little crazy right now, getting a little bored.
Just trying to pass the time.
There we see. Good catch. And the coach has sent the defenders back out on the field. Yeah, this is a pretty relaxed time. All the Los Al coaches are on the sideline.
So 21.4 seconds left if you're counting. (42-7). Los Alamitos pulled out in front early. Closest that Marina got was within 21.
Oh, we just got an update. Esperanza 10, Fountain Valley 7 with about 3 minutes to go.
And that could be, oh!
No catch.
No catch. Talk about time to think about it. Out on the wing there,
Oh, actually,
Nick Richardson.
That was 10-7 with, the lead was 10-7 at 8:44 to go in the third quarter.
Wow,
Well,
that's
really,
kind of a shocker.
Yeah. Well, the really big game tonight obviously is going on at Cal State Fullerton with Mater Dei and Servite. They sold that game out.
Now,
early.
is this Servite's year? Can they do it?
I'll tell you what, you know, every year you look at it and everyone talks about Servite, this is the year, this is the year, this is the year, and then they lose one or two key games in Trinity League and they're fighting and scratching just to make the playoffs. That ball wasn't anywhere near the receiver on that one. I mean, even a couple of years ago when they had Gallipoli and a couple of those other guys who are now playing at USC, I mean, you thought, okay, this is the year they're going to do it. And they ended up losing, I think, 2 or 3 games in Trinity League and all, you know, barely made the playoffs. Ended up having to play, I think, Poly in the first round, and that was all she wrote.
Jeff Jeanette for the Vikings will likely get one more playoff.
Yeah, with just over 10 seconds.
And they're going to send everybody into the pattern. This looks like a Los Al setup.
Yeah, this is 5 receivers. Everyone run for the end zone, see if I can get it there.
Well, and the Griffin defense ought to be used to defending this.
Oh, that ball's not going to get anywhere close, but they're going to get one more play. Yeah, okay, it's pretty hard to throw a ball deep downfield when you're running for your life.
Jeanette, only a junior, 170-pounder.
Well, here's another guy again. I'd say either he's wearing a big flak jacket or he's packing a few. That doesn't look like 170 pounds.
So with 5.9 seconds left, we'll see what Jeanette has in the bag of tricks, and it better be good because his last shot at this will be the last memory of week 1 in Sunset League play.
No interview. Microphone instead.
All right, tried a little slip screen there, and Los Al actually will get the ball back with 2 seconds.
The game that won't end.
Yeah, this is like, okay, I think Fritz, want to bet a 20 on what this play is going to be? Come on, bet me.
End zone all the way.
Yeah, no, I think they're telling Los Al's QB right now, Dylan Cook, it's like take a knee or else.
Yeah, I know it is, you know, JV playing in a varsity game, but if you even think
well,
about
it's not even Dylan Cook, it's number 3 in for Los Al. So
keeping us on our toes.
Yeah, they've got Josh Ball, the senior QB, basically takes the knee, and that's the end of the game. So Josh gets to at least get one play in the books with his name on it. Well, Fritz, I'll tell you what, I mean, nothing that we didn't expect. Great play by Los Al. Let's go over the stats a little bit. Jenkins, 5 catches, 53 yards, 1 TD. Richardson, 4 catches, 159 yards, 3 TDs. Perez, 1 catch for 34 yards for TD. Perez, 117 yards on 18 carries and 1 rushing TD. Clark, 10 for 13 for 246 yards, 4 throwing TDs, 1 rushing TD. And then Wilson of Marina, 20 carries for 72 yards. Gomez, 8 carries for 38 yards. Jordan, 2 catches for 29 yards. Cooey, only 51 yards throwing, but he did have the 1 TD on that. So, I mean, this is what you expected. I mean, pretty much this has been Marina throughout the years. I mean, they give it a good game try. But, you know, whether it's just a lack of talent in the area or they're just getting out-coached a little bit, you know, very tough for them. I'm going to say it's going to be very difficult for them to move off of a 2-8 season this year. Their chances come in the pre-league if they schedule teams that they can beat. And once they move in the Sunset League, very, very tough for them. But you know what? Give them credit. They continue playing hard the whole game. As a head coach from Marina, I think that's all he can ever ask of his players. Give me all you got.
So, looking at Los Alamitos, and certainly 42-7, obviously they clicked on all cylinders tonight. Anything that you would say they need to focus on, they need to work on as they turn up the heat next week?
Well, one thing I'd say, and I'm sure the coaches are going to tell them, is, okay, guys, you won 42-7, but don't think that you played great tonight. You played a very, very weak team. I mean, don't think you can rest on your laurels. We're going to look at a lot of things in film, and we're going to look at some things for you to improve on. You have to improve every week from now on out. I mean, you're going through Sunset League all the way up into the playoffs, and if you don't get better every week, you're not going to be ready for those, playoff games, which is your real goal.
Well, and the only thing I think that we saw is Clark Evans maybe waiting a little too long to get rid of that ball in the pocket, and that will be deadly if that is a trend that's starting. I doubt it is. We saw last week he had to get rid of it fast and did, and had a very productive game between he and his receivers.
Yeah, Fritz, and that's why I say, I think it's just a case of, they knew they had control of the game. He was getting real comfortable in the pocket, and I think one thing he forgot, and maybe the coaches will talk to him about, is like, hey, Clark, don't ever assume you're always going to get 5 seconds in the pocket. Always play it for a 3-second release. If you get into that, then you're always going to be in good position to control the game. And I think that's part of what they're going to work through with him is, again, as I've said before, it's consistency. Great teams are consistent week in and week out. They always bring their best game every week. And we saw a good game today for Los Al. I'm not going to say by any means was it not what we had figured it would be and not up to expectations, but you're playing a whole different caliber of team next week in Edison.
You've got it, and we talked about earlier that could be the defining game and who takes the league title. The Edison Chargers 4-1 before this week. Certainly they've played some tough opponents, and next week this could be the Sunset League title. Of course, you never want to forget the Esperanza game, yet Edison looks very strong right now, and as the score we just heard with the Fountain Valley giving Esperanza a good game, a little bit of a shocker or surprise there, but it is the Sunset League.
Yeah, it is, and I mean that's going to be the thing that's going to happen. I mean, pretty much other than Marina, I will say you have 5 teams in this league who on any given Thursday or Friday night or even Saturday night, because I think the Bell game may be on Saturday night this year, these guys can beat each other. I mean, the next 4 games, it's kind of a good news, bad news scenario for Los Al and Sunset League. Good news is they got an easy game to break into the league with. The bad news is every one of them is a dogfight from here on out.
You got it.
Next 4 weeks, every game you have to bring your A game.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it will be a pleasure to bring it to you. The final score here from Gar High School, 42-7. Los Alamitos goes to 6-0, and the Marina Vikings drop to 2-4. I'd like to thank our support staff tonight. Lindsay Mays, our statistician, and Kevin Robinson, our crack spotter there. Thank you very much to you two. For Keith Jones, Ron Cluey, I am Fritz Pollard. Thank you very much for watching exciting high school football here on LA TV. Ladies and gentlemen, good night from Gar High School.